Miss Liz, tea time, yeah, making a difference, one cup at a time, yeah, Miss Liz, tea time, yeah, making a difference, one cup at a time, so be sure to grab your tea, grab a seat, and tune in to Miss Liz, tea time. Making a difference, one cup at a time. Tea time, yeah. Tea time, time.
Well, welcome everybody. We are a little late this morning, but that's okay because I have two incredible guests here. They are brother and sister, they are twins, and I am just glad that they are fine and healthy and safe. So, we're going to get on with this morning's tea time as scheduled, and we're going to share a lot of good points today. So, all of you viewers and listeners out there, share this tea time, get it out there. If you haven't subscribed to Miss Liz's YouTube channel, please do that. And check these tea times out whenever you can. If this is not a good time, I truly understand. They are there for you to watch at any time, whenever you're able to. So I'm going to get the disclaimer going, and then we're going to do a little bio on these incredible twins, Sally and Jonah. And then we're going to sit and talk about some bullying, abuse, racism, all of that good stuff. And I think it's a really good time to get it out there. So again, grab your tea, grab your coffee, grab your juice, have your breakfast because breakfast is really important. So, disclaimer for Miss Liz's Tea Time Live Show. Miss Liz, myself, is going live using StreamYard. Before leaving a comment, please grant StreamYard permission to see your name at StreamYard.com. Please be advised that the content brought forward for any Tea Time show hosted by myself, Miss Liz, is always brought forward in good faith. However, it may bring forward dialogues and opinions that are not representative of my platform. The facts and information are perceived to be accurate at the giving time of airing. All tea time guests and audience participants are responsible for using their good judgment in taking any action that may relate to the discussion. The content brought forth may include discussions for some where they may be emotionally at risk. It's significant to know that this show is engaging in discussion forums only to offer and inspire awareness and connection and is not providing therapeutical advice. If you have any questions about the disclaimer or the panelist discussion, you may freely contact me, Miss Liz, through my email at bookingmissliz@gmail.com. Moving forward, should you choose to voluntarily participate in today's show in any aspect, I myself, Miss Liz, welcomes you. And should you decide that the show is not made for you at this time, I respect those wishes and will see you at a later show at a later date and time. And again, all tea times this year in 2023 are done on Thursday, 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 7 p.m. But please check the times because there are some issues that we are having. And we do have some delays going on, especially today is going to be one of those Thursdays. Tonight's tea time will be at 8 p.m. instead of 7 p.m. So check that out as well. So a little bit on these incredible twins. Well, I was sent these twins by an incredible publicist, and he was like, Miss Liz, you need to check these guys out. And I was like, oh my God, yes, I do. Because once I'd seen them, I was like, absolutely, they are my cup of tea. And we know how Miss Liz serves tea here. So we do teaching educational awareness, and these two are teaching educational awareness for all of you youngsters out there. They are prime living examples. So they are the founders of The Power Within. They are twin champions of Taekwondo. They are authors, they are advocates, and so much more. I want to bring them in and during the show, I'm going to read a little bit of their bio or get them to share a little bit. We're going to do something a little different this morning. So we'll get them to share who they are and that. So I already see Sally pointing at Jonah. So we'll see who's going to be sharing. So I'll get them in here and then I'm going to sip on a cup of tea and do all of my good stuff over here while they share a little bit on who they are.
Hi,
Welcome, guys.
Hi, ma'am.
hi.
How's
Thank
you
you
doing
so much
today?
for having us.
I am good. I am so glad that you guys are okay. Like I am super happy. Like I was like really sad. You'll see the earlier stream of 4 minutes where I was like really concerned, but I am so glad that you guys are okay.
Thank
So
you so much.
so Jonah and Sally, I'm gonna do what I always do with all of my guests. I'm gonna ask you who you were as a little person, because you guys are not that much older, and who you are now. But and then we'll get into who you are and how you got started with everything. And whoever wants to take the lead, go ahead.
Yes, ma'am. So I think I'll speak for both Jonah and I that we went into this experience of ours as kids, too broken, stigmatized as weak, and we were just frustrated and confused. And there was so much negativity surrounding us that we're slowly trying and beginning to consume us. However, through this journey of self discovery, self growth, and truly just self discipline that we've endured these past 8 years, we've become who we are today. We have become confident, we have become advocates, we have become empowering, and we have become, we fight for what's right. We fight for what's right today, and we will always fight for what's right. And it's just that growth that we've experienced in the journey, in the process of this self-development, that we've become who we are today. We are competitive Taekwondo athletes, as you've mentioned, and we've traveled the world. And we've also traveled the world through our nonprofit organization, trying to, expand our impact and just our purpose and mission in life.
So Sally, I want to get into you a little bit, and then I'm going to get into Jonah. So you as a little girl, you're the sister. So
Yes.
you as a little girl, how did you look at Jonah as a big brother?
That's honestly a very good
She's older
question,
than me.
but I am 2 minutes older than him. We are twins. But I went into this experience as weak, completely weak. And Jonah was there to empower that feminine side of me. He showed me that I can be strong regardless of my situation. And it truly was him. He sacrificed so much and he put so much, there was many tough times where I'd come out of the garage with bruises all over my legs or a black eye, but I knew it was to make me stronger. And I truly wouldn't have become the woman I am today without Jonah. And I'm truly grateful for him.
So Jonah, I'm going to switch it to you now. So how did your older sister impact your life?
Sally, ever since I was little, she always was a true meaning of like hope for me, true meaning of discipline for me. Ever since I was little, she was always there by my side. And truly, through the experience in Taekwondo and through our experience in the garage, she taught me to be more strong, be more empowering, because I had to be the strong person for her. I had to uplift her in her moments. And sometimes whenever I was down, she uplifted me. We were coaches for each other. We were training each other. We were teaching each other new limits every day, teaching each other new skills every day.
Mm-hmm.
And she was the true representation of my goals, true representation of who I wanted to become whenever I grow up, and true representation of my motivation.
Yes, and despite the situation we were forced into where we had no proper place to train, we had no coaches to support us, no teammates, to encourage us, but we had each other. We were fortunate enough to have each other. And honestly, like we wouldn't have been able to survive if it wasn't, for each other. That,
We were the motivating drive for each other. We were what kept each other alive and going and having that dream of once stepping on the Olympic stage one day.
And we often face, criticism on how close we've been, us, like usually siblings today, they aren't seen as the closest, but we believe that together through going through this journey together, being there for each other has made us, closer than we could have ever been. And that's what we try to emphasize. That's the goodness that was brought to us, through a situation like this that's viewed in such a negative way. But there are some good things that can come out of it.
So how old were you guys when you started Taekwondo?
I actually started it whenever I was around 6.
And I was around 7. So prior to joining Taekwondo, I was competing competitively in gymnastics, and since I was a little girl, and I had been doing that for about 5 years until Jonah had seen that my gymnastics gym was holding, a temporary Taekwondo class, and Jonah had, spotted it while
'Cause
watching me, in gymnastics, just practicing. And so he tried it out. He had done it for about a year because as he joined, and I would start going to the Taekwondo classes and watching him, and it's not just the art of kicking and punching that attracted me. It was the foundational principles that this sport taught you that no other sport truly has. And it's what makes Taekwondo so unique. And what we continue to advocate for is those principles of discipline, of integrity, of self-control that truly, inspired us and attracted us to this sport. And so I joined along.
I mean, especially because I would play basketball, baseball, and all those other sports and soccer, but none of them really spoke to me and really made me feel like this is where I belong. This is where I was meant to be. The only other sport I felt like I was enjoying it was soccer because I was using my feet. And then that's whenever I realized the power I had in Taekwondo and the power and the love I had for Taekwondo. It's truly a sport that has really changed me and Sally into changing our new perspective on life and changing our perspective on what we want to achieve and our goals.
Yes, and we want to emphasize that, the martial arts world that we see today, it's all about who's the strongest, who's the toughest, who can, punch the most or punch the strongest. But it's not that attracted us to this sport. It was those principles that are truly life altering and that helped us pave our path of today.
I like that. We have a question here for you guys. Could you describe what principle means to you?
Of course. So those principles that we were talking about are essentially the tenets and the morals that you live your life by, that essentially provide your life with meaning. And it's not supposed to be something that, restricts you, but instead brings out the best version of you. So we often think that, it's hard and it's bad to live a life that you would continue to wonder what you could have done yesterday, what you could have done last week. So the worst thing you could do to yourself is to not become the person you could be in this lifetime. And it's that what we see in those principles and those tenets, because they help
Pave your pathway.
shape your path. And that's what we see in those principles of Taekwondo and how we apply them in our life every day, whether it be academics or our nonprofit.
Truly, like perseverance and determination and discipline has shaped our perspective, like as Sally said, not just in Taekwondo but in academics, because of this sport we were allowed to like have a new perspective in education, and then see that education was the factor that allowed us to succeed, allowed us to prosper in the garage, and allowed us to escape the darkness between the four walls that we were confined in. And that's why we advocate the power within our organization, the power of knowledge, the power of reading, the power of education, because that's truly the factor that allows you to reach the next level of your capacity and overcome the limitations and obstacles that you are surrounded with. Because throughout that experience, we saw that was the sole factor. So that is what we advocate always to the youth, because that is their key to escaping the darkness, escaping their obstacles that they withhold.
Yes.
You guys are truly inspiring and empowering. And I really want the youths out there that are listening to Tea Time and parents that are listening to Tea Time, share this with your kids, because these two here have really created a magical platform for a lot of children who are struggling to find themselves, From the work that I've done and the search that I've done and the information that had been sent to me, I noticed that you guys are big on education. You are big on breaking the stigma, using your voices to look within yourselves to spread that message. And I noticed that your logos on your shirts are keys. So could
Yes.
you explain why the key is there and how you got the power within? Because that statement itself is really empowering.
Of course. So I'm just going to go back a little bit to our just a bit of background. So at the age of 10, my brother and I were abused psychologically, mentally, and emotionally by our former Taekwondo coach. And with this, he had threatened, all the coaches in our state and out of our state to take us in as their own athletes. And this essentially left us out in the open with no place to train and just no one to believe in us and in our sport. And so we, during that year, after that experience, we were just training out in the open, trying to find a place, whether it be in nature,
Driveway,
at our
parks.
driveway, in our school's track and field, or even in our living room. We would move the furniture, trying to create some space. But after a year of that, we had come together and we just sat down and reflected. What is our goal? We want to continue this sport that we love so much, that we have such a passion for, but we want to continue with it. We want to continue participating and competing in it and just, continue living in this dream.
Of the principles, living in the principles that it was holds.
And I just want to note that what kept us going was seeing ourselves in the world championship stage, which we have fortunately through much hard work accomplished, and the Olympic stage one day. We don't know how or when it will happen, but we know that through hard work it will happen, just as we had no hope left for reaching the World Cadet Championship stage, but we did. We had made it there in front of everyone with all the global athletes, the best athletes in the world, and we were there coming from this small, dark garage in Plano, Texas. And it's just that experience that was truly life-altering to us. And it's there, that change of perspective, that allowed us to see we can choose to have so much impact and purpose in our life. And so it was that moment where we decided these medals that we had been working so hard to accomplish and to gather were truly having no impact on anyone else.
Especially like after the World Championships, when we saw all these medals that we had collected and we saw the outcome, and we see what is the point of collecting all these medals whenever we're not impacting other people's lives?
Mm-hmm.
We're not changing other people's lives. We wanted to be the voice for the voiceless. We wanted to have an impact on their lives. We wanted to create an outlet for them to voice their struggles, to voice their obstacles, to voice their limitations.
Yes.
Because in the experience in the garage, we had no voice. We had no outlet. We had no one behind our backs. We only had each other.
Mm-hmm.
But now we want to be that voice for those kids that don't have an outlet, just like us. Whenever we look at them, we both see ourselves in them. We both saw the struggles that we face.
So it was there at that World Cadet Championships that we decided to truly change our mission in life. And that was truly where we, began the birth of the power within. And the key represents, during our experience in the garage these past 8 years, education was truly life altering. And it was the key to our way out. It was the key that allowed us to reach the World Taekwondo Championships. Whether it could be anything, whether it be books, whether it be articles, whether it be just engaging yourself in the power of knowledge, just seeing the doors that it can open, that's the key. It can get you out of any situation, no matter what it is.
I think that's what really empowers me about you two is that you realize that all of the medals weren't making the difference. And I'm big on that. I say this all the time because I have titles, I have labels and all of these things, but I want to be known for Miss Liz. I want to be known for me. I want you to, when you look at me, I want to be impacting your lives because I have the voice that is the example of showing that it can be done. And that's what I get from you guys, is that you've used your voice instead of the medals to impact lives.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
the medals are nice. Don't get me wrong, medals are nice and championships are nice, but the real impact that we make on lives is showing that we can show another person that there's hope out there,
Yes.
that they
Yeah.
can be inspired, that they can do it too. They can. I come from a place where I've been told all my life I wouldn't do anything.
Mm.
And here I am today, sitting with you two incredible individuals, having this incredible interview. And I would have never had it had I not pushed
Yes.
within. And that's what I got from you guys when I was sent you guys. I was like, oh my goodness, yes, these are like little mini me's. Like, let's go. Like, let's push these
Yes.
keys out there. Let's push that message out there that
Mhm.
it is within ourselves. No matter where you come from, no matter what you go through, you can push through. And
Yes.
that's where I get from you guys, is that you have this key and you're passing the key to the next person, open their door, to open their door and open their dreams and their goals. You know, we have so many people out there that are giving so much negative influence. We
Yes.
need the positive, and that's what I wanted, was positive when I started this platform. And you guys are the positive. You guys are that key that says, that little girl that never got hurt, or that little boy that was always pushed in a corner and said you can't be anything. You guys are that key this morning that is going to give that little girl and boy that opening to say, you know
Thank
what, we can move forward.
Yes,
Now
ma'am.
I want to get into your stories. Um, you guys have gone through a lot, and I think that's why I resonate really well with you guys. Abuse and bullying and neglect, rejection, we have all of that in similar, right?
Mhm.
But as young siblings, how did your parents react to all of this?
Our parents were the backbone of our entire progress and progression throughout this experience. They were our motivation. Every single time we looked at them, we said, we want to achieve the Olympic and we want to go there and sit on the stage. We wanted to be the best and we wanted to empower ourselves. We wanted to motivate each other to reach that level. Our parents, they're truly like the inspiration behind all our success.
And not many people know this, but our mother, she was there every day watching us. She was the one who was taking those videos behind on her iPhone camera, and in the Texas cold and in the Texas heat, she was there on the floor just trying to support us. As she was, our parents were truly the only motivating factor for us besides ourselves, and they believed in us, and we knew that, we felt that. And through the sacrifices that they made, and my mom, every day having to watch her kids, go through this experience, it's not easy, but she was there and she pushed through as well. And um just on that camera was the only way that we could see ourselves, that we could teach ourselves. We would be playing our videos in slow motion, trying to catch, the little techniques and see if they had matched the ones that we were watching in YouTube. And that's how we improved.
And our dad would work tirelessly trying to finance like all of us going to those competitions, trying to prove our abuser wrong of reaching the world championship stage. As he said, you will never reach anywhere without me. That was the constant motivation for us. That was a constant empowerment in each other, that we wanted to reach that world stage. We wanted to voice our struggles, to show to our master that we had reached here by ourselves. Just
Yes.
me and Sally.
And it's not just the limitations that we were experiencing in the garage, whether it be the ceiling was too low and we'd constantly be hitting our heads on it, or the paddles that we were using were like, they were rented and they were, torn up and we had to tape them. Or that we had no mats on the floor. It was rock solid. So
Or the holes
every
in the
time
wall.
we'd fall, because Taekwondo is a very engaging, an aggressive sport, it would knock us down. But every time we got back up, and it wasn't only those situations in the garage that we had to face, but it was also while we were in our former Taekwondo master's dojo. the treatment that we would be getting was truly like there's no words to to voice how cruel it was.
He
We
would
would
say,
go in for training, every night, and Jonah would be sent. He would be called names such as P-boy
he said,
and Google
go
baby.
go clean the restroom.
Yes, we'd be going there with the spirit. It's a new day. It's a new chance to grow in our sport of taekwondo, and just physically and mentally. But we'd be faced with that over and over again. And in our competitions, we'd feel the threats, whether it be from our coach or from his best friends. We were in the holding area alone. Our parents weren't allowed there. So that was the best place they could target us, whether it be whispers or names called or just stone cold stares. They would try to target my brother and I while we were alone, and try to, just knock us
And
down
for
and
example-
force us to quit. But we never and never will give them that satisfaction.
For example,
And we
yeah.
understand that these circumstances that we were, accompanied, we were experienced, they weren't because of these people, but it was because of what they had gone through. We don't have the right to judge them. We don't have the right to say, oh, this person is automatically inhuman. They shouldn't, deserve anything. No, we don't have that right. We have the power of forgiveness to heal, to move on, and to prosper in our own life. We know that these circumstances and situations weren't because of us. Although these, experiences that we had truly just made us question who we are and what our identity was, because, wherever we went, we were criticized for who we are. But we just kept reflecting and kept understanding that these situations weren't because of us. And we want that to be clear to everyone watching and all the viewers, that it's not because of you. This situation that you're going in, that's around you, it's not because of you. You don't deserve it. You're not unworthy. You are worthy. You are powerful. You are strong. It's just something that you have to go through, and you have to stay persistent, and you can grow out of it. You can, emerge so strong, so triumphant, and so, powerful. And that's what we want to emphasize.
And our mom, she would always tell us, you need to forgive to heal. You need to forgive him for this. Not forget, but forgive to heal yourself, or otherwise you'd live in the constant shadow and the constant darkness
of the
past, of the abuse. Because that's the only way for us to grow from there.
Mm-hmm.
I really love the transparency. And I don't want you guys to feel like you're not allowed to cry. You're not you. I want you to be you. This platform is a home style, going to grandma's house and sharing, and I want my viewers and listeners to understand that these two children just never gave up. No matter what was thrown at them, they never gave up. They've been through racism, rejection, bullying, name calling. It just never stopped, but they kept going. And for all the listeners out there that are listening, I want you to never give up. I want you to listen to their words this morning. I want you to understand that these two children here, these two young teens, are making an impact on lives because they are transparent. They have forgiven, but they haven't forgotten. And I want that really crystal clear. You can forgive, but don't forget.
Yes.
And Jonah, I really was listening to you when you said, you'll never get there without me. When people tell us that, it gives us that motivation and that empowerment to just say, you know what, let me prove you wrong. Let me show you I will get there without you. Your words I'm going to take as motivation, and I'm going to push myself. So I really want all of the viewers and listeners out there, especially the young kids that are listening to Tea Time. I know you guys are out there because you guys have come to me. I want you to know that when people give us these hard words, use them for positive,
Yes.
not negative.
No.
push yourself, push the power within. I really love the name of your nonprofit. I really think that it really is empowering. I want to get into the book. The book is
Mhm.
called The Night Blooming. How did you guys get the name of the book, and what is the book about?
Yes, ma'am. So that's honestly something very interesting. But there is a flower called the night blooming cereus, and this flower only blooms at night. And so this serves as kind of a symbol of our experience during these past 8 years in the garage. We were working hard, intensely, and without anyone knowing. We were in the shadows, we were in the dark, we were between these four walls in our garage, and no one knew about us. And we were in the dark. But
That's where
the
we
day,
prosper.
yeah, that's where we prospered. That's where we were secretly building ourselves. Instead of viewing these four walls, this garage, as a prison, we instead viewed it as a lab where we can create the best version of ourselves, where we can prosper, where we can become self-disciplined, focused, and on our goal of going to the World Cadet Taekwondo Championships and eventually someday the Olympics. And it was, the glory that we felt in the World Taekwondo Championships, and what we have transitioned it to become in our nonprofit organization. That is the light. That is the light out of the darkness. And we just want everyone to know that there is always light out of the darkness, and that comes through strength, through perseverance, through discipline, and through persistence.
So, Sally and Jonah, how did you guys get you got the name from the flower? But
Yes,
what
ma'am.
does that flower represent for you guys individually?
The flower represents us as the garage represents our darkness,
Mhm.
and we were the flower, the light out of the darkness. That light was growing and continuing to grow as we were progressing through these years, as we became more determined, more perseverant. And that flower essentially in the end made the garage light. It made it not darkness anymore,
Mm-mm.
not the prison that we thought we were confined in and forced into, but light.
It was filled
I,
with before
no,
we
go
would.
ahead, Sally.
Of course, we would always go into and step into this garage with uncertainty, not knowing what that day would hold, what the next day would hold, what 3 years from today would hold. But we always went in with hope, with strength, and with full faith in God. And that's what transitioned the darkness that we were in into light.
So, with the book, The Night Blooming, what message and what target audience are you looking at with the book?
So, our book, we hope to provide empowerment, especially to those young adults and children, because we know that in today's modern society, those children are always left to the side, and they're deemed like they don't know, what's going on. They don't know how to do this, how to do that. But kids have so much power in them, so much strength, but it's constantly,
Pressed.
crushed and pressed under by society. But we want this book to prove that, you don't need anyone. You don't need anyone to believe in you, to, support you, to clap for you. You have yourself. You have the strength within yourself to, make it and make your dreams reality.
You are that source. You are
Mhm.
that source of motivation. You are that source of passion within yourself to reach the next level.
And that's what we mean whenever we say the power within. You have all the resources, all the materials within yourself.
And the power within is held in our minds because our minds are the key factor of us growing, reaching new mental strength, positive mentality, and overall like overcoming the obstacles and limitations that we are surrounded with.
That was part of the educational journey that we were taking in these past 8 years in the garage that truly transformed us. It was through reading, through, engaging ourselves in knowledge, that we were able to process and have that intellectual understanding and be able to connect the dots and truly connect our mind and our body together to, join harmoniously and to become, create the best version of ourselves.
And like reading those articles and reading those books allowed us to find like resolutions and solutions to these questions that we had
Yes.
and to the obstacles that we are surrounded with. Like the solutions that we came up with wouldn't have been possible if we didn't read, if we didn't have that drive of knowledge, because knowledge is the key factor of us finding that light in the darkness we were in.
Yes, and we always, say that education was that one aspect that we could have control of in our situation. Despite, all these circumstances leading to us to build the first ever garage dojo, it was filled with uncertainty, but it was education that we had control of, that we weren't forced into, that could be the light out. It was education that truly opened our eyes to the possibility that awaited for us.
So I want to get into you guys' T. I think it's a good time to ask you, if I give you the letter TEA, what 3 words would you give me? I'm going to start with you, Sally, and then I'll go to you, Jonah.
Of course. So for me, it would, I don't think we can really separate it from me and Jonah.
We're just one. We're one.
Yeah, as you've seen in our story, I'm pretty sure we went through everything together. So I think Jonah.
So we are disciplined, we are committed, and we are passionate. Those are the 3 words that describe me and Sally.
Mm-hmm. And truly what drive us every day to, do what we do, become who we want to become.
And the principles we live by,
yes,
essentially.
Okay, so let's switch it up. I'm going to give you the letter T. What word comes to mind for you, Sally, and what word comes to you, Jonah? I want to see if you guys are...
For me, it would be teach.
Jonah?
Drive. Because...
Oh, T.
But there's a reason why I'm doing this, Sally. Because the drive has to be there in order to teach. So you guys are aligned.
Mm-hmm.
I went to you first, Sally, to get the T word because I wanted to see if Jonah was going to give me a T word.
Mm.
And he gave me drive. And that's what I want. I want my viewers and listeners to understand that the T doesn't have to be the letter TEA. It can be different letters, different words. But let's start using words to describe our T's.
Yes.
So now I'm going to switch it up. Jonah, I'm going to go to you for the E, and then I'm going to go to Sally.
Empathy.
Sally.
Empowerment.
Now the 2 words go together, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
So Sally, now the A.
I would say advocacy.
And Jonah?
Outstanding.
And they go together, don't they?
That's magic, right?
We need to understand that tea goes together. It's like putting the cream and sugar into your tea.
Oh.
Without the cream and sugar, you can't do it.
No.
And that's what you guys come as a team. You come together as one. But you're serving the same tea. You're just using different words.
Yes, ma'am.
But the words connect. The words are aligned together. So for all the viewers and listeners out there, this is how we serve tea in this house. We bring awareness to words because words are empowering. Words are what got you guys to where you are today. Had you not been bullied by your master, you would not have pushed yourself to that garage. And this is why I use words to teach education awareness.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
I really want the viewers out there to understand that Jonah and Sally come as a team. They are the twin team. They are the champions. They are the brother and sister who have each other's backs. Sally, when we first started the conversation, when the interview started, you said that siblings usually don't get along. I got 3 kids. They don't get along. I wish they would, but they don't. So for all the siblings out there, what message would you guys have for them?
I would say that to truly understand your differences, not every person is going to be the same. And we truly understand that. Even us, twins, but we can use our differences to unite us. That's what we believe. It's those unique experiences that each one of us hold that allow us, to communicate together, to share together, to build off of one each other. Me and Jonah and I are, one of our favorite things to do is travel. We love, introducing ourselves to new cultures, new people, new foods. He's a foodie. But it's through those life experiences that make life meaningful. Sorry. And it's those differences between us that make us human, that make us, want to get to know each other. And it's the same thing with siblings. Even though we're living under the same house, we have the same parents, but we will have some differences, but we need to use those to unite us.
And overall, I think that, and Sally also thinks that knowledge and reading is the key way of like understanding each other, understanding our differences. Because once you open your mind to different solutions and to different obstacles and to different limitations, and understanding who you're talking to and what they have been through, then you can find a source of friendship, a source of like connection between you and them.
Yes. So as Jonah just said, siblings or not, us as humans, we're never going to truly, bring the best outcomes and, unite together if we don't have an open mind. We need that open mind, that perspective, and, that ability to be flexible, to adapt to situations. That's what we need.
Adapt to new people, adapt to new cultures, adapt to new food.
And be accepting.
So Sally, you said Jonah was the foodie. So what are you? Are you the fashion designer? Like
Sally's more of a dessert person.
Yes, I'm a sweet person for sure.
I'm a savory person.
I would go through a whole day without eating. Just I would trade every meal for something sweet.
So you just mentioned desserts and that. So is there a special diet that you guys follow?
That's actually really interesting because, during these past 8 years, Taekwondo requires you to pick a certain weight division that you would like to compete in. And with that, pretty much all athletes have to go through cutting weight. But for me and Jonah, sometimes it would be a bit, to the next level. And so what was required of us, while we were kids, 10, 11, 12, and what we continue to do today is discipline. As Jonah would mention, like we would go to birthday parties or celebrations or family gatherings, but we can enjoy, and indulge in that aspect of, food. It's much harder, than, done than said, but you have to restrict yourself from, personal satisfaction like that, because you have to stay disciplined and focused towards your end goal. And truly, once you have that, passion for that goal and achieving that goal, nothing in your way will ever stop you. Yes, it was hard at times. We would be eating lunch, in the cafeteria, and we'd have our grilled chicken and broccoli, while other people had, their pizza or their chips.
It's just the discipline we had to have towards like continuing, because we saw that once we had that goal on our path, once we had what we wanted to achieve, nothing will take us off of it. And especially like with nationals, we cut almost like 20 to 25 pounds. We would train for 5 hours a day, jumping rope for like 2 hours, running for an hour. And we were continuing, no matter how much it hurt, we continued and pushed forward. And through that experience in nationals, we won gold, because you have a constant goal you want to work towards.
Yes.
So then you keep working towards that, and don't let anything stop you from going off that path you have.
Yes. And also, even if you're not, in the cutting weight process, you still need to feed your mind and your body healthy foods. So, the common phrase, you are what you eat. And we truly believe that, you need to maintain a healthy mind and body connection. And that doesn't come just through exercise, through, engaging yourself in educational, tools, but also from what you're putting into yourself.
And for like cutting weight, whenever one time I came back from Texas, I was cutting weight for Texas State. We came back from a Disney cruise, and I had to cut about 12 pounds in a week. I didn't see that as possible, but my mind said, yes, we can do it, because in the end, your mind is what can
Yes.
keep you going towards those obstacles and like overcome the obstacles, overcome the limitations, and see what you think is not possible is possible.
Mhm.
Because the word impossible, it's never really true, because what your mind says is possible, what you say is possible, is what is possible.
Yes, and we feel like one advice we would give would be just to eliminate the words "I can't." It automatically sets this barrier. You know, your mind is, as Jonah said, so much more capable than you think it is.
It controls the entire body. If your mind says I can't, then your body will
Then
says
you
I
can't.
can't. But if your mind says I can, then your body will.
Constantly feeding yourself these empowering words, it will become reality. If you truly stick to it and you believe in yourself, it will become a reality. And that's what we continue to advocate for in the Night Blooming and our nonprofit. It's one way that we're doing this is through providing educational resources. So that's truly one source of empowerment that's, you can't compare to.
I love that you guys are saying this, because anything you say after I and you put it out into the universe, it does happen. So, when you say I can't, you've already turned yourself off.
Mhm.
Your mind has already off, and when you use the word impossible, I'm possible. Like, break it up, turn it into a positive. We got so much negative out there that we need to turn it into a positive,
Yes. Have that positive.
if you have a hard day, you say, you know what, I'm having a hard day, but where can I go in an hour from now? Start digging yourself out of that hole.
Yes.
Yes,
Like,
ma'am.
if you go down a little, you got to pull yourself up. You are the person that has to do it. Nobody else can do it for you. And that's the message that I really like about your organization, is the power within. It's
Mhm.
within you. It's
Mhm.
not within Sally, it's not within Jonah, it's not within Miss Liz, it's within you. You pull yourself up. We're
Mhm.
just here to guide you and give you tools and tips, because you might have that little toolbox that gives you that little rope that pushes you up, but I want everyone to understand that until we understand what's within ourselves, we cannot change. we
Mhm.
we have to understand the within first, and that's what it took for you guys to find your within. Your master was trying to kill the within, and your within was saying it ain't happening.
Exactly.
We're going to get up. We're going to keep going no matter where we have to go. If we got to rent the material, if we got to go in the garage, we got to bang our heads, we're going to do this, And I want everyone out there that's listening to this tea time and who will pass this tea time along to schools, to youth groups and stuff out there. I want you to understand that, listen to the words that are being said. These two young children are saying that no matter what their master told them, they were not going to believe in it, because the within was telling them, no, we're doing this with or without you. You have a choice if you want to be with us or not. And you had that choice as well. And I'm so glad that you guys stood up for yourselves and you said, you know what, we're out of here. That's it.
Yes.
We'll figure it out. And you guys have figured it out. And I am so glad for that. So
Thank
we
you.
have a couple questions that are coming in, and I want to get them out to you before we run out of time.
Mhm.
So we have some youths that are tuning in, and they would like to know how they can help with the power within if they're not in the United States.
Of course. So honestly, I feel like this doesn't have to do with a specific organization or that you have to be tied to or associated to. As it just comes within. It can be within locally, within your community, or you can just go for whatever you want to go for. Just believe in yourselves and don't place restrictions on yourself, or that, just as we said, I can't. Just believe in yourselves and set out on the goal that you have. That's truly accomplishing the power within's message. We have carried out many projects, such as gathering funding for 800 more, plus school backpacks filled with school supplies within our community and internationally. But as well
as building libraries in
building 4
Africa.
libraries in Africa and so on. But these projects, they started from somewhere. They started from a place where it was where we viewed it as like, it was impossible. But we didn't take that term into consideration. You just have to work hard, try to research, try to find new ways, try to find new solutions, and it will work out if you continue with perseverance.
And if you want to contact us, you can contact us at Sally and Jonah Ismael. That's our social media platform on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
I do believe I have that. Let me put that up there.
Yes, so we
There
share.
we go.
We share a lot of motivational content there, as well as post, daily training videos of what me and Jonah do for tens of athletes across the world.
So we have another question here for you guys. Do you guys speak internationally?
Could you please clarify that a bit?
I'm guessing that if they wanted you to come into the schools or organizations, like, do you guys travel to speak?
Oh, we'd be open to, of course. We primarily speak through our, as Jonah said, our main advocacy platform of on social media, on Instagram, where we have, a platform of athletes, of young adults and children from across the world. But we'd be open
to do
of
that.
course. Just make sure to contact us, and we can for sure arrange something.
I think it would be incredible to have you guys in schools just to encourage the kids, right? So, and you could do like a demonstration of the Taekwondo, So what is it about Taekwondo that really just gets you guys that you love it so much, that the passion is there?
So whenever Sally said whenever she was doing gymnastics, I looked and saw the sport of martial arts, the art of kicking and punching. And I saw it and I was like, oh my gosh, this looks very interesting. I wanted to try it. And after I tried it, I fell in love with it. And there was just no other sport that could offer me the principles, the love that I had for this sport. And soon Sally joined me, and through this experience, we truly found ourselves within the sport. That was our source of, like, I don't know, self-actualization.
Yes. So as Jonah said, this sport, it's unlike any other one we've tried. Taekwondo, you usually aren't introduced to it, right? In school, whether it be in schools or just outside in, the real life, you're always introduced to the average
Like
and the
football,
basic sports,
soccer.
like football, soccer, cheer, dance, gymnastics. That's what, society tries to tell you should do. But we didn't fit in those sports.
We didn't find ourselves.
We found ourselves through Taekwondo, and it was hard to kind of find that and reach there, but that's what we continue to use our social media platform for, and through the Night Blooming and through talks like this, we hope to get Taekwondo out there, because it truly can be life altering. It can
change your perspective,
shape you to become the best version of yourself. And please don't hesitate, to contact us. We're always free and open to, talking and engaging with our viewers, with our supporters. So please don't hesitate.
So I love, Sally, that you said that about society, because I like to break society's programming. Children out there have a right to go and look for what is going to fuel their passion and their why. And Jonah, you did that. You were like, oh, I really like this. Let me join it. Sally, you were in gymnastics and you were like, oh, I like it, but I really like the Taekwondo. And you said right at the beginning of the show is that you came out with bruises and like you were in rough shape, but it showed you who you were,
Yeah.
And sometimes we have to get those scars in order to grow. We have to have the scars to be pushed, So I'm glad that you guys are breaking society's stigma and society programming. We need more individuals like you guys to just say, you know what, this doesn't work for me. I'm going to find what works for me.
And ultimately, like Sally with gymnastics and Taekwondo, in gymnastics, she was bullied. Because Sally, you want to explain it because you went through it?
Yes, so I have a health condition. It's a hypothyroidism, where it causes me to gain weight easily, and it's, caused me to have some conflicts whenever I was a child because I was a bit chubbier. But in gymnastics, that isn't really viewed as ideal. And so a lot of my teammates, many of which who would go to school with me, would bully me for, my size. And whether it be I was falling off the bars or
The
the
beams.
beam, or not being able to run as fast in the vault, I was bullied for that just because of something I had no control of. And it's not like they, were trying to target me, but they didn't understand that I had this condition. And then comes again that open-mindedness, that ability to be accepting of others regardless of what they're going through. I if it was me, I don't know what this person in front of me is
Has
going
gone through.
through or has gone through. And we have to approach everyone, with that sensitivity, with that human element and
And
that
that
human
empathy.
kindness. And that's truly what's missing in the world today. But we, continue to try to, bring out there. So, yeah. I saw Taekwondo as empowering whenever I was in this low point of my life. And also, the cutting weight, as we had mentioned earlier, helped me to become the healthier version of myself and help me balance this health condition of mine. And also, that's why I fell in love with it as well. Again, it's helped me become the best version of myself.
You guys have really changed my life. And I am so honored to know you both. And I want to know, what is your plans for the future? Like, you guys are getting ready for college.
Yes,
Like,
ma'am.
what's the plan for the future, guys?
Honestly, the future is always going to be unpredictable, but we hope to continue together in the same college, in the same place, continue our mission together. And as we've mentioned earlier, our end goal in Taekwondo is to make it to the Olympics, and as well as participate in collegiate competitions internationally. We don't know how or when it will happen, but we have full faith that it will someday.
So, what final message would you like to leave for everybody out there?
We want to instill in them that they have the power within themselves to change their life, to change the route they are going through, to shape their perspective based on knowledge, because knowledge is the key factor of most people's success and can lead you to a different path in life, one that withholds success, one that holds a healthy lifestyle, and one that holds understanding people no matter what they have been through and communicating with them in a good way.
And there's a quote that, Jonah and I have, come up with, and that I'd like to end with. And it's to don't let any struggles or obstacles stop you from what you have in mind, what you want to do later in life, and what your dreams are. Just face through the hard times and you'll get to the good times.
That is truly, you guys are amazing. And
Thank
I
you.
really want to thank you again for joining me and coming. I am so glad again that you guys are well. Uh, I know that you guys are dual citizens and you are from Israel. So, what message would you like to leave with everybody out there for your family members and that as well?
We just have prayers and hopes for peace on both sides. We just, that's pretty much it. We know that this conflict and conflicts like it before in history, um, you know, it's very similar, but we just, pray and hope for peace on both sides.
Well, thank you so much. I really want to thank you guys for joining me. And for anybody that would like to know more about you guys, check out their websites. Reach out if you would like to know more and you can't reach Sally and Jonah. You can always reach Miss Liz, and I will connect you guys. I want to thank all the viewers and listeners that have joined. Anyone that is catching the replay, please push hashtag replay. Let me know where you're tuning in from. And if you would like to have more conversations like this on Tea Time, let me know. And I can always bring these guys back because I have, they're not getting rid of me that easy. So I want to thank everybody for joining me on Tea Time this morning. And we will be back at 3 p.m. with John Petterelli, and he'll be sharing his personal story on GBS, Guillain-Barré syndrome. So, and he is a Hollywood fitness trainer who who has gone through a lot. So I want to bring personal stories to the table who have impacted lives. So until then, I will see everybody at 3 p.m. and then again tonight at 8 p.m., not 7 p.m., for the last final tea time. And we'll be doing some Teddy Talk adventures of a little kitty cat. So he has his stories too to tell. So we will see everybody tonight at 3 p.m. this afternoon and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Until then, thank you guys for joining me, and thank you to all the viewers and listeners. And we will make a difference one cup of tea at a time, Miss Liz style.
Thank you so much for your time, ma'am.
Thank you.
Enjoy your day.